What's up, Grimlords? I'm Michael Pluzzi, the creator of Grim the Card Game and the owner of Grimoire Games. This video is intended for those of you who have purchased a copy of Grim or who may be considering purchasing a copy and you want to learn a little bit more before you dive in. This is going to be a short, casual breakdown of a few things that I think are helpful for you to know before you crack open this massive adventure of a game. And I say it's massive out of love. We have players in our Discord who have played for 200, 300 hours of match time, last that I checked, and they're still coming back to explore. It's a relatively simple rules flow and mechanic structure, but a lot of different interactions to discover. We're going to talk a little bit about rules complexity and presentation, both in the physical copy and on the website. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the box construction, the way you can store and restore and sleeve the cards and get them to fit really nicely in the box. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about alt formats that have come up in the years that we've been playing on our Discord. Without further ado, let's dive right in. The mechanical structure for Grim is quite simple. I could teach you this game in 15 or 20 minutes. I've done that many times over. And I have a tutorial here on YouTube that I'll link that does exactly that in 15 minutes. But the fun complexity of Grim doesn't come from the simple mechanical structure. It comes from the cards that have been created for this structure. When you start pairing Grim cards together and using the different statuses and spirit bonuses available to you in this game, you will find the complexity that creates a massive problem space for this game, and that's what players of this game love. To the extent that you ever encounter something that you can't immediately answer in this core rule set printed in the game, do yourself a favor and head over here to grimthecardgame.com, head over to the Rules tab, and you'll find a massive, blown-out version of this rulebook that gives you everything you will ever need to know about the different interactions that might be at play. Even better, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll find the FAQs, where I keep a living document of questions that have been asked in the Discord, or on YouTube videos, or anywhere else in playtesting, and I give answers that are clear and concise. So if you have a question, it's probably been answered in one of these here. And if you ever have a question about a specific Grim card, head over to the Cards tab on the website, find the element for the Grim card you're looking for, and go ahead and scroll down and find the name of the card you're looking for. And we also keep here a living document of FAQs that might have been asked about those cards. Many of these, especially for those of you who maybe have played the game, will be really obvious. But when you're still learning how the language works consistently within the game, some of these questions may come up. So head over here if you have a question, especially if you're still learning. I want to talk a little bit next about the components you'll receive in the box and how you can properly store this box. So I'm going to open this up here. This is what the box looks like when you have the cards fully sleeved and packaged. As you can see here, there's a ribbon across the top that holds it all together, and everything is flush with the top of the box. I've got everything in this box here. If we pull this ribbon out, I'm going to show you the trackers first. These trackers have a linen stamp on them with a bit of a grip on top of that. This is intended to make sure that the cubes don't slide as you and your opponent use them in a match. But one thing I want to point out is that health cap's at 20 and stamina cap's at 10 in this game. So if to the extent that you don't want to use these trackers as you play, as beautiful as they are, you're not required to. I like to use spin downs every once in a while, and if you're on the go and these don't work for you, then you certainly don't have to use them. Next here, I put my rulebook and my player guides. These will be really useful to keep next to you as you play, but of course, as I mentioned, feel free to go to grimthecardgame.com if any questions do come up. Next, we've got our cube bag here and a little frame that keeps it from moving around inside the box. This bag has 22 cubes. You only need 19 to play the game, or 20 if you're using a Grim called Celestial Body. So this gives you a few extras so that you don't run out to the extent that you lose one. And then here's how I store my cards inside of the box. As you can see, I have my Afterworlds, Grimlords, and Bond cards here. I'll lift these up here. Here's my Afterworlds. Here's all of my Grimlords. And here are all of my Bond cards, my spirits and my elements. And then on this side, I put all of my Grim. The reason I wanted to open this box up for you is to point out there is a little foam insert at the bottom of here that comes to about here on the box. I don't want you to throw that away and make the mistake like I know some people might. A lot of board games come with inserts that are intended for you to throw away when you receive it, when you sleeve the game. I actually designed this box such that all of the Grim will fit on one side fully sleeved, everything else will fit on the other side fully sleeved, and the components will sit in here flush with the lid. That insert is actually only in there for when you receive expansions of the game. Each expansion is going to be about 55 cards. Some of those cards will replace cards in the base game, like the bond cards. We'll talk about news on those, I'm sure in the near future. And then other cards will simply be added to the box, which is why this insert is in here. This is intended to be removed once you get those expansions. These cards, by the way, are 63.5 by 88 millimeters standard playing card size, or trading card size rather. So if you sleeve Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or anything like that with your Dragon Shield, Titan Shield, go ahead and use those sleeves for your cards. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about the alternate formats that our community has created over years of playing Grim. The first is what's called a mini-match or quick play. In the standard rulebook, you're going to find these standard rules for Grim, in which each player bans 4 cards into their opponent's banished, meaning 5 knockouts is required to win the game. In a mini-match, you only ban 2 cards total, 1 from each banned pile, which means that you only need 3 knockouts to win the game, effectively cutting the game in half. Whereas a standard match of Grim might take an hour and a half to play, this match of Grim might take 40 or 45 minutes to play. So if you're a little tight for time, that is a really, really good option. If you really want to theory craft around in this game, especially once you know more about the individual Grim after a little bit of experience, go to the bottom of the rules tab and find Grim Coven. Grim Coven is a really cool format that gives you a lot of opportunity to theory craft. It has you put a team of 8 Grim together, 2 of which get banned by your opponent, and you keep those Grim in your hand when you play. Because standard Grim has you pair 2 elemental Grim decks together, you often don't have the opportunity to have 8 unique element Grim in your hand at once. So this opens up a lot of really fun interactions you wouldn't normally see in standard Grim. So that's it from me. I am so excited for you to break open this box and start learning more about Grim the card game. Join our Discord, I'll put a link in the description below. And as always, have a Grim day.